One game, one chance.
Taylor Rose, it's out of here. There is no doubt about this one. Matt Holliday.
The NL wildcard game. Cardinals, Braves, next.
games.
Last season, and as such, he did address the team in spring training, addressed the team opening day, and even addressed the National League All-Star team. But today, as one of the Braves told me, no big speeches before this one. The team was very loose and relaxed, as if it is a regular season game. Now, Chipper is not a big fan of this format. When I asked him about it, he said the game is about series in the regular season and the postseason, but today, that is no longer true. Guys?
Now Chipper Jones, 92 career postseason games, a .288 lifetime hitter in the postseason, coming up to play tonight. So Chris Medlin has taken the mound. Here is the batting order for the Cardinals. John Jay will lead off, and then Carlos Beltran, who is the Cardinals' best home run hitter. Matt Holliday hits third. In the cleanup spot, Alan Craig. He'll be the key to the Cardinals' offense. Yadier Molina, maybe the best in the business behind the plate. David Freese, the postseason hero from last year at third base. At second base, Daniel Descalso. The rookie shortstop, Pete Kozma. And then Kyle Loesch will round it out. That's Mike Matheny's first ever postseason lineup he has had to write out. And there is Chris Medlin. And Ron, you said one of the hottest pitchers in the game right now. What a story he's been for the Braves.
What makes this 5'9" and 3/4 inch right-hander so good? Well, he comes into a game, and you'll see it in the first inning, throwing all 4 pitches for strikes.
Medlin, as a starter this year, 9-0 with a 0.97 ERA. Overall, 10-1, 1.57 ERA. Appeared in 50 games and 12 starts. The Cardinals, they've been down this road before. They know what elimination games feel like. Mike Matheny said they've been in an elimination game for the last 2 months. And the Braves trying to move on as the top wild card record. Ready to go here, Turner Field. Medlin's first offering to John Jay. Strike one, and away we go.
Interesting, they're throwing that ball out, taking it because it's the first wild card game. Hall of Fame ball.
A new era begins here tonight.
Just make sure it says strike on it.
Yes. And Medlin is a strike thrower. That signature changeup. Joe talked about David Ross as his catcher here tonight. David Ross has done a great job with Medlin. Medlin enjoys throwing to both of these catchers, McCann and Ross, but his numbers are better with Ross behind the plate, and it starts with a strikeout.
That's vintage Chris Medlin right there, guys. Fastball, changeup, and then a two-seamer coming back.
I remember another right-hander here for the Atlanta Braves that used to be able to do that. Maddox, of course, great fastball inside the J.
And they call Greg Maddux the Mad Dog. They call Chris Medlin the Med Dog. And he is very Maddux-like in his precision, or at least he has been this season. As Beltran jumps on the first pitch, fouls it away. Carlos Beltran, he'll be a key to the Cardinal offense as well. Struggled in the second half a little bit, hit in the 230s after the All-Star break, but he finished with 32 home runs and 97 driven in. He finished 5th in the league in home runs, 10th in the league in runs batted in. His first postseason since 2006 when he played for the New York Mets.
But he's always been a superb postseason player. Loves the spotlight. No reason to think otherwise today.
Beltran, one of the big pickups for the Cardinals this offseason. 1-2 misses away. Cardinals come in with some firepower. A team that hit over 270 as a ball club this year, second only to the Colorado Rockies in the National League. Back-to-back strikeouts for Medlin.
Well, he has such great deception in his delivery that even if he keeps the changeup up in the zone, the difference in speed still gets the hitter.
I felt like today a lot of the game would be dictated by who the home plate umpire would be, because both of these pitchers work both sides of the plate. They depend on the edges, and Jeff Kellogg behind the plate so far not having to call too many because there have been a lot of swings and misses.
51-year-old Kellogg. As Matt Holliday takes a strike. Medlin just pouring them in to start this game. Matt Holliday coming off a big year. Mostly healthy year. He did deal with some back problems, but finished with 102 RBIs as he is drilled by a pitch. That's where you have to pitch Holliday inside, and Medlin too far in there. And the Cardinals have a base runner with 2 away.
Well, the natural movement of Medlin's ball is a ball that will run into the right-handers, away from the left-handers, and as you said, Brian, too far in there to Holliday.
Medlin will turn 27 in 2 days. Been a reliever, had Tommy John surgery back in 2010, but now getting his chance as a starter. And you figure he'll be aided by the shadows here at Turner Field, Joe. It's tough to see this time of night in this ballpark.
No question, Brian. And then the batter's eye is brightly lit behind him.
Alan Craig takes a ball.
Tough times right now for the hitters. A little bit of sunshine shining right on the mound, but the path of the baseball all in the shadow.
And right fielders beware here at Turner Field as that sun sets right in their eyes. Close play. Medlin has a superb pickoff move. And the Cardinals, the team that likes to run a lot, Joe, but between the combination of Medlin and Ross, they're going to be able to shut down a running game on most nights.
David Ross won't get as much publicity as Yadier Molina with his ability to throw, but he's good too.
2-0 to Craig.
Freddie Gonzalez was saying for such a young pitcher, Medlin has a great way of holding runners close, and he says the best right-handed move in the National League.
Medlin is an outstanding athlete. He was a college shortstop, drafted as a shortstop, as a matter of fact, and a pitcher. Craig, a bouncer over to the rookie Simmons. And Chris Medlin has a 0 on the board to get his postseason career started. Field are underway. We head to the bottom of the first, and here's the Budweiser Braves batting order. Michael Bourne, a base Loesch on the mound for the Cardinals. And his first pitch to Michael Bourne is up and away, ball one. Kyle Loesch, he's never had a postseason win, Ron, but he gets a big start, maybe the biggest of his career.
Yeah, 0-4 in 9 games. In his first start last season against Philadelphia, he gave up 6 runs in 5 1/3.
There's strike one to Bourne.
But like Medlin, he needs to pitch to the corners. He's got a good cutter, good sinker. And with runners on, he's good at getting ground balls and a lot of double plays turned behind him.
Michael Bourne, such a big key to this Braves offense. Stole 42 bases this year, finished second in the league. He and Loesch were teammates with the Phillies in 07, and that was Bourne's only postseason appearance. He got one at bat in the 07 postseason.
Bourne missed about a week's worth of games right at the end of the season because of a diving play at second base, head first dive where he sprained his thumb, a thumb that had been surgically repaired a couple of years ago, but did play in the last 3 games against Pittsburgh.
Ball and 2 strikes and a strikeout to get Kyle Loesch's night started. So a bunch of strikeouts early.
Here's the defense for the St. Louis Cardinals today. With Holiday, Jay, and Beltran in the outfield. 3 Gold Gloves for Carlos. 6th most errors in the National League at 107. Freeze and Cosma on the left side. Cosma playing for the injured Rafael Furcal. Descalso and Craig on the right side. And the perennial All-Star and Gold Glove winner Yadier Molina behind the plate.
One going for Martin Prado. Fitting that it is the Cardinals and the Braves here for this first ever wild card game. These two teams are no stranger to the postseason in the division era. Atlanta appearing in their 13th postseason since '95, and St. Louis their 10th. As Prado bounces one to Craig, fumbles it, but able to get it to Loesch for out number 2. Wasn't the prettiest thing, but he got the job done, and 2 gone for Loesch in the first.
Yeah, it's not going to make the highlight reel, but that ball off the end of the bat from Prado had a lot of spin on it, and Craig stayed with it.
Well, one of the good things is if you're corralling it like that, if you're still shoveling toward where you want to go with it, that helps a lot. So just a short flip.
Well, Craig essentially taking over for Albert Pujols at first base. Although he's played a lot of outfield, he was the left fielder that caught the final out of the World Series last year. Well, what a hitter he's been. There's Jason Hayward. Speaking of hitters, a career year for Hayward. 27 home runs, 82 runs batted in this season, and a .269 average.
Both of these pitchers will pitch to contact. They don't mind you putting it in play as long as they're ahead in the count and you're hitting their pitch.
Although when Medlin's perfect, he can have some high strikeout games. He did this season.
112 strikeout game, 113.
And Medlin with 2 Ks in the first. Loesch striking out Bourne to get his night started. Loesch had a great year, a 16-game winner, a career best. He had a .286 ERA. Loesch finished 5th in the league in earned run average this season, and he's the hot hand that Matheny calls on for game 1. And Ron, despite having Wainwright and Chris Carpenter, 2 postseason stars, it's Loesch who gets the call tonight.
Well, he's been their most consistent starter. Carpenter's only made 3 starts. Carpenter though 9-2 in the postseason. Wainwright only gave up 1 run in 10 games. Tough choice.
Swing and a miss, and Kyle Loesch answers Chris Medlin. A couple of strikeouts for each. 1 inning in the books. We head to the second. Dugout, presented by Samsung Galaxy 3. Predict the plays before they happen. Score points, compete against your friends, and earn rewards. Download the app by visiting tbs.com/social dugout or text dugout to 68398. No, both of these pitchers as advertised to get their evenings started. Medlin and Loesch each with a pair of strikeouts. And Medlin back to work after a 13-pitch first inning. 8 of those were strikes. And he'll match up against Yadier Molina to lead off for the Cardinals in the second.
When you talk to anyone on the field, Atlanta Braves side or the Cardinals side, everyone just raving reviews about the work of Yadier Molina.
He's got to get some MVP votes, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he hit .315 this year, 22 homers, a career best, had 76 driven in. And he is a game-changing catcher. He's like a shutdown cornerback in the NFL. There's that tough Sunfield. Hayward fighting for it. That ball's deep, and Hayward reaches up, and he's got it. Jason Hayward makes a great catch. Oh, what a play by Hayward. The toughest Sunfield around.
Checking the wall, fighting the sun, timing his jump, and robbing Molina possibly of a home run here. What a play. Absolutely, that was going out. You can feel for Molina because he hit that hard. What a play.
Yeah, what a way to get the postseason started with a play like that in the second inning.
The Braves defense, the best in the National League. Best in fielding percentage. They made the fewest errors.
Well, just 86 errors for the Braves this season.
Everyone in baseball now looking for a 6'6" right fielder. He needed every inch.
Great timing.
Degree of difficulty is high enough without the sun, but dealing with that setting sun makes that one of the more impressive catches that we have seen lately in the postseason as Hayward comes up with a gem here, robbing Molina of a home run. David Freese, a little tapper, foul, and a 2-2 count on David Freese.
Ron, I think you can speak to this, that everybody's got nerves in a game like this, no matter which side you're on, no matter the success of either side in recent years. But a play like that defensively can help loosen everybody up.
If you're the starting pitcher, all of a sudden you gain 2 inches. Your shoulders feel higher.
Freese bounces one foul. And Medlin's not a guy who gives up a lot of home runs, just 6 throughout the course of the regular season in his 50 games, 12 of those being starts. So what a lift that must have been for Medlin to see that one pulled back. And a swing and a miss. Freese down on strikes. Medlin with his third already.
Well, I guess David Freese can make an out in the postseason. Tough pitching here by Chris Medlin. Change up away right on the corner and on the knees.
Like Loesch, again, he doesn't mind contact as long as it's contact dictated by the pitch he wants to make.
Daniel Descalso for the Cardinals with 2 away. St. Louis second baseman. And that changeup has been spot on early in this game. So if he's battling nerves, he's not showing it with his signature pitch.
Ron, you mentioned Greg Maddux earlier. Another similarity between the two is how much Medlin loves the chess game with hitters. Studies a lot of video and really tries to get hitters to work against his strengths rather than vice versa.
It's almost like he dictates the speed of the bat.
Yep.
Well, the Braves have won 23 consecutive games that Medlin has started. Just an impressive streak. That is a record in Major League Baseball. 2-2 to Descalso, and a bouncing ball in the hole, backhanded by Freeman. And Medlin is there for him. A 1-2-3 inning, 2 scoreless for Chris Medlin. Chipper Jones's mind right now. Perhaps his final game at Turner Field. And listen to this crowd. Been a career victory lap for him all season long. He announced his retirement in spring training. And all business here tonight. Another postseason game for Chipper Jones.
Big hook there to start him. Good pitch.
Jones hit .287 during the regular season. Had 14 home runs. He'll finish with a lifetime regular season batting average of .303.
This is his 93rd postseason game. When asked if he was nervous, he said in the past, I was nervous in warm-ups, nervous in batting practice. I came today, no nerves at all. Very strange.
You're talking about that victory lap, Brian. One of the things even about the celebration they had here at Turner Field last week for Chipper, which was a weekend-long celebration, was that he always knew there was one more game. One more game. That's not a luxury today.
Good point. Jones will finish, regardless of what he does in the postseason, as one of the great switch hitters of all time.
One of the things he said about Kyle Loesch, too, was that if he gets ahead in the count, if Chipper's ahead, he was going to look off speed. That pays off.
He's one of the few hitters in the game that's able to look off speed and take advantage of it.
Loesch behind him, 3 balls and a strike. And it goes to 3-2. Threw him a changeup, and Jones fouls it away. Got him. Loesch strikes out Chipper Jones. And quiets down this big crowd. Third strikeout for Kyle Loesch. Well, between innings, the starting pitcher Chris Medlin greets Jason Hayward with a big bear hug.
Well, the person doing the hugging there was Hayward.
The bear part was Jason.
After Hayward makes a great catch, taking a home run away from Yadier Molina in the second inning. Now Freddie Freeman.
I think one of the underrated parts of Kyle Loesch's repertoire is his fastball. He can pump it up to 92 if he wants to, and I think he aired one out to Chipper up and in.
Now Loesch turned 34 yesterday from Chico, California. He'll be a free agent at season's end, and he'll be one of the top free agent pitchers on the market. You figure with Zach Greinke. And it was interesting hearing from Loesch yesterday. He talked about his start against Atlanta on May 30th, and he gave up some runs. He gave up 5 runs in that game, and he felt like he was tipping pitches in that game to the Braves. He thought a few of the Braves knew what was coming, so he changed his motion in the windup specifically, and you'll notice he now goes over his head with his glove in his hand as he begins his windup. Before, he was just out front, so whether it was true or not, he said the confidence that he got knowing that they're not picking this up changed the season, and he was dominant from that point on.
Yeah, he went on a real tear after that, whether it was real or perceived on his own part.
Loesch, after that start against the Braves, went 11-2 with a 2.63 ERA to finish the season. And a swing and a miss. Kyle Loesch strikes out Freddie Freeman. And the K's are racking up for these two pitchers. Number 4 for Loesch.
Struck out Chipper with a good four-seamer, but this looked like a cutter. No, maybe not. A slider.
I think, yeah, slider or a real tight curveball.
Both pitchers very sharp here to start.
2 up and 2 down. Here is Dan Uggla. Big power bat in the middle of this Braves lineup. He was an all-star this season, but had a dismal second half until recently. Was actually benched at one point by Freddie Gonzalez in early September. He did a nice job once he got back in the starting lineup. Hit nearly 300 when he finally returned, but a trip to the tool shed for Dan Uggla to try to work out his swing, which produces a lot of strikeouts. Finished the year with 19 home runs and 78 driven in.
Also walks a lot, Brian, which is kind of odd to go with those strikeouts, but teams know that no matter what he's hitting, he's always a threat when he comes up there, so they pitch carefully to him, and he accumulated almost 100 walks this year.
He led the league. He tied with Joey Votto for the most walks in the National League. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Uggla.
Well, was the most unlikely of hitters to have a 33-game hitting streak last season, and I think the Braves were waiting all year for him to have one of those runs, and it never came.
Yeah, that was in the second half last year. They thought it might happen again this year.
Loesch goes to 3-2. Uggla had a flip-flop season. Had a great start this year, and a rough second half, just the opposite last season. Full count to Dan Uggla, 2 away.
To shake Uggla's hand today, he said, "Whoa, easy, buddy. My hand's not feeling too good."
Yeah, he's got a cut on his hand between his first finger and middle finger, right between the big knuckles. Pretty good gash there. Sat out a couple of games for in Pittsburgh.
They did it in the celebration as they made it to the postseason, as Loesch just missed a 7-pitch at bat for Dan Uggla, and there's the walk you're talking about, Joe, and he's aboard with 2 away.
Borderline pitch too that Jeff Kellogg saw correctly. It appeared.
And now David Ross. Ross getting the start for Brian McCann. That was big news yesterday, and we talked about the compositions of the rosters here, and this one game elimination game changes the way a manager thinks. And because it's just one game, Freddie Gonzalez goes with David Ross, who is a much better defender, doesn't bring the offensive prowess that Brian McCann has, but McCann's really been struggling offensively.
Freddie Gonzalez had two big issues this summer: the benching Bugler and McCann that he talked to on Wednesday about his decision to start Ross. Who'd he go to both times? Bobby Cox for a little help.
Well, David Ross is making just his second career postseason start. His last came against the Cardinals back in 2004. Ross was catching for the Dodgers at the time. As a matter of fact, Mike Matheny was in the starting lineup that day for St. Louis back in 04. So it's been a long time between postseason starts for David Ross. Foul territory. Craig will give it a look, and it's in the first row.
I would say that both of these managers, Ron, have nice consultants to defer to if they have any questions. For Freddie to talk to Bobby Cox, who's here today, and for Mike Matheny to be able to get on the phone to Tony La Russa. Good consultants.
Freddie Gonzalez has said that Bobby Cox couldn't have been any more confident about his managing. He's always positive. Said, yeah, that's the right move, Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie Gonzalez called Bobby Cox and said, I've got this situation I'm thinking about. And Bobby said, I've been thinking about that for a month. Okay. What do you say, Skip? What do you think we should do? 1-2 to Ross. 2 outs in the inning. And timeout was asked for and granted by Jeff Kellogg. So a no pitch.
Well, pet peeve of mine, this is a little too late by Kellogg. Ross asked for time, never ever thought he was going to get it, so swung away.
Fortunate it is quiet enough in here that Kellogg was able to hear him. So we'll reset. 1 ball, 2 strikes on David Ross. And that ball is hit high and deep left center field. That's got a chance. And it is gone. A home run. David Ross. Welcome to the lineup.
He threw him a changeup when time was called. Ross swung through it. He came back with the changeup up in the strike zone. Ross did not miss it.
One of the things about the change in the lineup, and look at Brian McCann's reaction, is that David Ross can run into a fastball. He's a great fastball hitter, and here he gets a changeup after the timeout. Remember the swing and miss, and then he got the timeout, so he got another swing on the house. Wow.
And the first guy to greet him, his best friend, Brian McCann. Andrelton Simmons, the rookie shortstop, with a base hit. So with 2 outs, the Braves have come up with a walk, a home run, and now a single. Here's the plays Joe's talking about. Ross asked for timeout, was granted timeout by Kellogg. That pitch didn't count. Next pitch, see ya.
And you never know as a pitcher what to do after there's a timeout. Do I go with the same pitch? Do I change to another pitch? He didn't change, and Ross was all over it.
Here's Chris Medlin now. And he drops a bunt down. That's a fair ball in front of the plate. Easy out for Molina. And the side is retired.
Guys, we've been saying for years, a walk in the postseason is a rally, and it was again.
A 2-run home run by David Ross. Braves lead. Out 2-run home run. And a reminder that Cardinals and Braves fans, you can follow your teams with the Team Stream app. Download Team Stream, choose your teams, and you're all set. Get Team Stream from Bleacher Report today. So now the Cardinals trying to answer after David Ross brings them to their feet here at Turner Field. Chris Medlin with 2 scoreless innings and 3 strikeouts thus far.
Sorry, Brian. Both sides talked about how important early runs would be in this ballgame too, because of the depth of both bullpens and the strength that they could go to for this 1-game playoff and use everybody in the bullpen if needed.
And again, it feels so different because it's brand new. Normally when you start a postseason, you ease into a series. Not that there's not a lot of pressure in game 1, there certainly is, but knowing that the loser goes home, the winner is the one that advances here, that elimination feel to it changes how a manager thinks, how players will play. You might see moves you haven't seen. It affects the roster.
Sure.
Each manager has dropped starting pitchers off their active roster to add bench players. The Braves have 8 bench players tonight, the Cardinals with 7. So you got an entire team and all kind of specialty players on the bench.
Speed, pinch hitters, defensive players for both sides that can be plugged in when needed.
Pete Kozma. Kozma getting high praise from his manager Mike Matheny. And he didn't have to have a whole lot to say other than he looks like a big league shortstop. And he was the guy who stopped the revolving door for us, meaning the Cardinals, after the injury to Rafael Furcal. There's a strike called on the outside corner, and Medlin carves up another Cardinal. That is his 4th. As we send it down to Tom Verducci.
Well, Brian, you know that decision by Freddie Gonzalez to start David Ross was something he agonized over a good 2 or 3 days. And as you mentioned, he did it with the help of Bobby Cox. As he said, Bobby Cox watches every game. If you walk into the manager's office here, it looks like Bobby Cox's office still, with big number 6 on the wall, plenty of pictures of Bobby Cox. And as Freddie Gonzalez told me, it is his office. I just happen to occupy it.
Well, great respect, of course, for everybody in this Atlanta Braves organization, the Bobby Cox. Why shouldn't there be, with the class and talent that he brought here to this organization?
And if anybody knows what it's like to step into the shadow of a legendary manager, it is Freddie Gonzalez concerning Mike Matheny. Gonzalez, prior to the 2011 season, Matheny, after La Russa's Cardinals won the World Series championship last year, and those are not easy shoes to fill.
I think it's awesome what he's done, given that he hadn't managed at all anywhere. So
bouncing ball back up the middle. Simmons makes the play to get Loesch, and the Cardinal pitcher is retired. 2 gone.
You take over a world championship team, the expectations are already high. Microscope on you succeeding Tony La Russa, and I thought he passed with flying colors and did a great job for St. Louis.
Cardinals went 88-74. They were 2 games better than the Dodgers for the 2nd wild card spot. They finished 9 back of the Cincinnati Reds, who won the division. Dusty Baker's club will get their postseason started tomorrow against the Giants in San Francisco.
Think about the injuries they suffered through all year, though, the Cardinals. And Lance Berkman for like 81 at-bats all year long. Didn't have Chris Carpenter until right at the end of the season.
So that means you had to start with Lance Lynn in the rotation, who did great, but he was a guy that did so well for you in the bullpen last season.
John Jay fouls it away a little bit late on the fastball.
So if the Cardinals had any problems this summer, the most glaring was the bridge to their late relievers, and it cost Kyle Loesch a lot of wins this year.
Well, the Cardinals had that great run last year. They are used to the elimination feel. John Mozeliak, their general manager, talking about the character of the club and how they plowed through the postseason last year, overcoming the Braves in the regular season just to make it into the postseason. As Jay lifts one in the air, high pop up for Jones. Fair territory, and a 1-2-3 inning. Chris Medlin rolling along here through the first three. The Braves 2, the Cardinals 0. Atlanta, Georgia, and aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything that Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Brian Anderson with Ron Darling, Joe Simpson, Tom Verducci. Great to have you with us tonight. The Atlanta Braves have a 2-0 lead on a David Ross home run, which was the bit of news yesterday, that Freddie Gonzalez goes with Ross over McCann, and Ross delivers in a big way. It was a 2-out home run off Loesch. Back to the top of the order now for Atlanta, Michael Bourne. He'll be followed by Prado and then Hayward. And a hard hit ground ball through for a base hit. And the Braves have their base stealer aboard to start the third inning.
Like that pitch was up a little bit, Ron. Yep. And Michael, a good high fastball hitter.
Well, like most pitchers, Kyle Loesch, when he's up on the strike zone, the ball flattens out. It's pretty straight.
Michael Bourne with 42 steals this year. Only Everett Cabrera of the San Diego Padres had more steals in the National League. And a good contact hitter behind him in Martin Prado.
Nobody can shut down a running game like Yadier Molina, with or without his pitcher's help. But Kyle Loesch is pretty quick to the plate, so he helps in that regard too.
Prado, low strikeout numbers, low walk numbers this year. Hit .301 for Atlanta. Playing all over the place. See him at third base, typically left field for the Braves. Got some time at shortstop as well when the young Simmons was injured.
I thought it was interesting to see him show bunt there, Brian, because David Freese at third base has been battling a right ankle problem for the last week or so, and he might have been thinking about testing him. Freese was back at the time.
Long look from Loesch, and Prado bunts it foul. And when we talked about how Yadi Molina changes the game, this is one area. You know, Michael Bourne, against most opponents in the National League, he's going to be off and running. But now you have to start thinking about a sacrifice, maybe hit and run.
Well, we've already seen that these managers are going to manage this game different. Probably wouldn't have him bunt during the regular season, but this game is so important that playing for small ball, even in the beginning of the game, is important.
Extra bases in the playoffs always seem bigger, feel bigger, but especially in an elimination game scenario. As Prado not bunting this time, takes a ball.
This is when Martin Prado is at his toughest for a pitcher, because that big hole on the right side, his ability to inside out his swing and go the other way. And a very tough out even with 2 strikes. He had more 2-strike hits than anybody in the National League.
Which is what you want a good number 2 hitter to do, a guy who can hit with 2 strikes. Giving Bourne some chances to run. That one's going to end up in the seats. And 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's another good fastball, looked like a 4-seamer from Kyle Loesch that got in on Prado. Led the majors. I shortchanged him a lead.
There you go. You know, the other thing you have to look at in Molina also, especially with 2 strikes, is if you're the runner getting that secondary lead, get back to that base, because he will throw behind you.
2-2 on Martin Prado. Braves have their leadoff runner aboard here. A single by Bourne. And Prado goes down swinging. So Kyle Loesch not only effectively holds the runner, but he picks up a strikeout. That is number 5 for Kyle Loesch.
Changeup, beauty.
Pronates that arm, turns that ball over, and keeps it on the outside corner.
1 gone. Here is Jason Hayward now. Hayward has already impacted this game with his glove. Made a fantastic catch in the 2nd inning, robbing Molina of a home run. Staring into the setting sun. Pops this one up. Long run for Holiday, and there is the 2nd out. The Cardinals' weakest link defensively over in left field. No problem with that one. 2 outs with Bourne at first, and Chipper Jones coming up. Jones struck out his last time up. One of 5 Loesch strikeouts, and he starts him with a fastball strike.
Should be a little better for the hitters to see right now, because the shadow is all the way out to right field, and that might work to the hitter's advantage going forward. No strobe light effect with scattered light.
The only problem, Joe, I see is the hitter's eye still is in the sunshine.
That's what they see with that backdrop.
This time Loesch stepped off. And Jones pulls one over to second base. Descalso takes care of Chipper Jones, and Loesch comes back with a 0 in the third. 2-0 Braves. We head to the fourth. The Cardinals are coming up. Turner Field, Carlos Beltran will lead off for St. Louis. A reminder that Sunday on MLB Network, it's ALDS Game 2. See Cespedes and the Oakland A's battle Cabrera and the Detroit Tigers. Coverage Sunday begins at noon Eastern, only on MLB Network. Go to MLBnetwork.com for channel number. Buddy Matt Mascursion and Jim Cott will be calling that game. And we want to send our condolences out to Pat Neshek and his wife Stephanie. They lost their one-day-old son, and he will try to go in that series as Beltran singles to right, and the first hit for the Cardinals comes to lead off the fourth inning.
Well, and you figured it would be Beltran, who always seems to hit so well in the postseason. Had a historic postseason after being traded from the Kansas City Royals to the Houston Astros.
He was a big part of one of the many elimination games that have not gone the Braves' way here at Turner Field. One of the 8 in their franchise history that they have lost. Beltran did it to him as Houston Astro back in '04.
Almost single-handedly took care of that series.
Yeah, Beltran with 4 homers in that series and 9 RBIs as a 27-year-old. Bounced from the Mets to the Giants and now the Cardinals, his first year in St. Louis. And the first hit of the ball game for the Redbirds with Holiday coming up.
If you're a free agent to be and you get traded in the playoffs and have a postseason like that, that's the best time to have it.
That's why it's kind of a special time for Kyle Loesch if he's able to extend the season for the St. Louis team.
Well, the Giants were banking on that very fact last year with Beltran, but didn't work out that way. San Francisco missed out. Beltran's comeback had a huge season. Certainly a big first half that propelled a terrific season.
In his heyday, none better at still in second base.
Back to '04. Beltran, the one-man wrecking crew, not only against the Atlanta Braves, but also against the Cardinals. He had 4 home runs in that series as well. As Matt Holliday takes strike 1.
Both of these 3-hole hitters today, Holliday and Jason Hayward, are similar from opposite sides of the plate. They make it appear that you can pitch them away, but they actually like the ball out away from them.
A hot one backhanded by Chipper Jones, and a high throw into right field. Beltran on his way to third. Instead of a double play chance, perhaps, the Cardinals in business now as Chipper Jones throws it away.
Again, the top fielding team in the National League, and a rare throwing error by Chipper, who is extremely accurate.
That throw not even close as it sails over the head of Dan Uggla.
Jones had just 11 errors in the regular season. Chipper played in 112 games. Not the defender he once was, but still a good third baseman. But not on that occasion. And now the Cardinals knocking at the door here, first and third, and Alan Craig coming up, their best clutch hitter this year.
Postseason can affect even 40-year-olds. Looked like he
There
might
you
have rushed that throw, Joe.
He might have had a little trouble getting it out of his glove, and thereby rushed it.
Braves will play it back. They'll concede the run to turn 2 if Craig hits one on the ground, and he did roll one over to Simmons, the shortstop, his first time up.
Had various injuries earlier in the season, but once he came back, almost an RBI per game.
Led the National League in average with runners in scoring position, second in all of baseball. It's impressive when you can go through the course of a season, hit 400, but it counts the most when you have a runner at least at second or third. A single and an error to start this 4th inning. And the 2-0 to Craig. Strike. Found that outside corner with Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire. Sort of known as an umpire with a tight strike zone. Umpires don't like when you say that, though. They just call strikes strikes and balls balls.
Right.
But that's the rumored reputation, Mr. Kellogg. Just reporting. Three and one.
It's interesting asking Mike Matheny, the manager, about Alan Craig and why he's such a good hitter with runners in scoring position or runners on base. He says he's patient. He doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes. He'll go to right field. He'll take whatever the pitcher gives him.
Yeah, he said the moment doesn't change his approach, which is very key.
And that one's hit high and deep to left field. Back is Prado, and he can't get it. A one-hopper off the wall. Beltran will score. Holliday going to be held around third. And Alan Craig carries it over to the postseason, driving in a run for the Cardinals. And it's 2-1 Atlanta. An RBI double for Craig.
We've been talking about this St. Louis offense. Best on base percentage in the National League, near the top of the league in batting average. So when they have an opportunity to take advantage of a mistake like was just made by Chipper, they rarely miss out. And again, Craig, 400 average with runners in scoring position, carries it through to this game.
And now Yadier Molina. Most managers in the National League say the Cardinals have the best lineup top to bottom, including Freddie Gonzalez. Tough to manage against.
One of the things you have to do against Molina in RBI situations, he loves to go the other way. Craig's countering with Freeman way off the bag at first base, trying to plug that hole.
Second and third, nobody out. A run is in, and Molina trying to shoot one to right field, fouls it away. Well, last time Molina was at the plate, speaking of opposite field, looked like he was going to drive one out of the park, but a great catch from Jason Hayward, fighting the sun, the fence, and pulls one back. Molina had his best year with the long ball this year with 22 home runs.
A little different picture we see here in the fourth from Medlin. Early in the game, just pumping strikes in there. He's gotten behind some of the hitters now.
Making his first career postseason appearance, Chris Medlin. And Molina to the right side. Uglove will make the play for the out. Molina will drive in the run to tie this game at 2. An RBI ground out for Yadier Molina.
Well, Molina good hitting the other way. We talked about he likes to go in RBI situations that way. And watch Molina as he runs down to first base. A little self-congratulations on getting the job done.
Just take what the game gives you, right?
With the infield back too, it's kind of like just a runner at second, not necessarily at third trying to get the guy over. He did the same thing and at the same time got the second base runner to third.
And now Craig at third base, bringing the infield end for Atlanta with one away and David Freese at the plate. A strikeout victim in the second inning. Medlin has 4 Ks already. And he lifts this one high in the air. Bourne waiting under it. Craig's going to tag. Catch is made. Bourne's throw to the plate is high. And Craig scores. And the Cardinals have taken the lead, a 3-spot in the fourth. St. Louis produces a couple of runs with outs.
Situational hitting clinic by the Cardinals in this inning after the error by Chipper.
Again, taking advantage of the mistake, and that's what St. Louis did last year in the postseason. They were very opportunistic.
Freese playing on a sore right ankle. Gives the Cardinals the lead in the fourth inning as Descalso takes strike 1. Bases empty, 2 away. Little jam shot into right, and Hayward will bring it in. Side retired, but the Cardinals score 3 runs. A costly error by Chipper Jones in the fourth opens the door for the Redbirds. in the 4th inning. It was a big error by Chipper Jones on what looked like had a chance to be a double play off the bat of Matt Holliday. Instead, Jones throws it away. The Cardinals respond. They get RBIs from Craig, Molina, and Freese. And back on top now, St. Louis. As Kyle Lohse will face Freddie Freeman to start this inning, and a big swing and a miss. Lohse giving up the 2-run home run to David Ross in the 2nd. Has allowed just 3 hits thus far, has 5 strikeouts as Freeman pulls one down the line. We're going to cut it off Beltran, and Freeman won't challenge the arm of Carlos Beltran, which is still very good. Moments ago, we spoke with Cardinals manager Mike Matheny. And Mike, well, through the first 4 innings, what is your first career postseason managerial experience like?
Well, great atmosphere here. The Braves fans are obviously excited, and Cardinal fans that are here are as well. But it's just like we thought. We'd have a couple pitchers who've been throwing the ball extremely well, making good pitches, and just trying to make something happen when we can. And they're not going to come in bunches when you have guys throwing the ball like this.
Mike, this is Joe. What was your take on the play just before David Ross's home run? It looked like a late call on the timeout.
Yeah, that's always a tough spot to put the umpire in when they call late. You know, it's one of those situations, or as soon as you hear it, you have to call it. And Lohse hadn't made any movement, but it's tough, especially when you get the swinging through like that, and you get the strikeout possibly, and then the home run follows. That's a tough one to swallow.
And our thanks to Mike Matheny, first-year Cardinal skipper, as Dan Uggla takes a ball down and away. Ball and a strike on Uggla with Freddie Freeman at first base, a leadoff single for Atlanta. That was a big play as David Ross asked for timeout, was granted just as Lohse was about ready to throw the baseball. And then the very next pitch, Ross hit one out, and Ross is on deck. A strike on the outside corner.
Well, I have to say, so far, guys, home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg has had a pitcher's strike zone.
I think so, too. When we talk about the difficulty that hitters may be having, well, he's got to look into that same background, track pitches. But I agree.
Well, does it help that these two pitchers have carried a reputation as strike throwers?
I always think of umpires like guys who hunt strikes and guys who hunt balls, and he looks like he's hunting strikes tonight.
You see the game plan for Lohse on the pitch tracks as he is staying away from Dan Uggla. Uggla walked with 2 outs in the 2nd inning, just ahead of Ross's 2-run home run. Everything away. 2-2 the count on Uggla. Big bouncing ball. Freeze. And out is the call. Close play at first. Uggla runs well. Almost beat it out, but a nice play by David Freese for the first out of the inning. Freeman will advance to second base.
Even in the worst of times for Dan Uggla, when he was hitting in the low hundreds, he hustles down the line on every ground ball and almost legged that one out. That's not surprising to see him get down the line quickly. Good call, though.
First base umpire is Mike Winters. So 1 away, and here comes David Ross. Talk about a guy rewarding his manager for the pull tonight. Drops a bunt down this time. It's a beauty. Freeze. Safe. A home run and a bunt single for David Ross. Infield hit for David Ross, first and third. Brings a laugh out of Brian McCann.
Well, that's about 4 or 5 bunt hits for David Ross this year. He's very good at dropping it down the third baseline if he catches the third baseman unaware.
It started to become, though, the best 2 minutes in sports as they're waiting for him to get down that first base line.
Now the pillow monkey got him. Goes face first, but it was worth it. How about that infield hit? And now Andrelton Simmons hitting 8th in this Braves batting order. There's a bunt. And Freeman won't go, and it hits Simmons. Down the line it goes. Freeman scores. Wait a minute. Hold everything. They're going to call an interference here.
What a turnaround this will cause.
Not going to count. Hold up. And before the crowd can die down, Freddie Gonzalez wants an explanation.
Is it just me, or do these plays only happen in the postseason? It's so hard to get in that running track, that running lane, when you're going down the first base line. You'll see that Simmons is on the grass.
He's got to be in foul territory.
Yeah. Very good call. Hit him in the helmet. He's out. And as it was all breaking loose on the field, Jeff Kellogg was waving his hands, calling Simmons out.
First of all, I'm going to question why he was bunting. First and third, and you got the pitcher up behind him, and it wasn't a suicide squeeze, so he was just trying to get on base or maybe get a guy in for third base if he got a base hit. So this was not the time for a bunt.
Just a young man's mistake here.
Yeah.
Bunting in that situation. You got to try the baseball because of the pitcher up next.
Exactly.
Little subtleties of National League Baseball. Do's and don'ts.
And Simmons clearly angled his way into the grass inside the baseline. That happens throughout the course of a regular season all the time, as long as that's your running lane. But Simmons went out of it, and he's out. And now Medlin is up. The Braves pitcher with 2 away and runners at first and third.
These umpires are umpiring in the postseason for a reason. They're highly rated. They get rewarded for their work during the regular season. Here is the crew for today's game with Jeff Kellogg behind the plate. There's 3 different crew chiefs on this 6-man staff today, but a good call by Kellogg. He was on top of it.
Medlin takes a strike, and it's 0-2 on the switch hitting pitcher. Freeman does not run well at third base. Thought for a moment he might make a dash for it. Perhaps a safety squeeze, but that wasn't the case. And Medlin is gone. Boy, what a turn of events here. The Braves sitting there with first and third and 1 out. Cardinals still lead 3-2. The interference call. 3-2. Cardinals lead the Atlanta Braves. And the Cardinals coming to bat as we head to the 5th inning. Chris Medlin back on the mound. He starts Cosma with a big hook for strike one. Now, we had a chance between innings to talk to Freddie Gonzalez. We were planning to air that interview, but had technical difficulties with the headset, which we apologize for. But we did hear him enough that Freddie Gonzalez told us that the play last inning, A, he thinks Jeff Kellogg got the call right. B, that was a safety squeeze put on by Freddie Gonzalez with the young shortstop Simmons at the plate.
I'm surprised with the pitcher on deck and with more than anything else with that man Freddie Freeman running at third. He's not the swiftest of Atlanta runners.
So a batted ball in front of the plate. Medlin, a very good fielder. For the first out, Cosmo retired. Such a big play in this game. It looks like the ball's going into right field. Ron, looks like the Braves are going to at least tie it, maybe take the lead. It sets up a big inning. Instead, it wipes out a potential big inning.
Well, you know, it's become a pet play in the National League, that safety squeeze with first and third, but it can only be done with the right personnel. Freddie Freeman, like Joe said, does not run well enough. Let the young shortstop swing the bat. All he has to do is hit a ground ball or a fly ball and get that runner in. Probably not going to be doubled up with his speed.
The guy that was upset the most was David Ross because he ran from first to home for no reason.
After sprinting to first on a bunt single. I'll ask if he went. Able to check his swing according to Mike Winters.
After the last call of interference, these men in blue cannot do any right here at Turner Field.
And Medlin misses away. 2-1 on Loesch. Two big plays in this game, and both calls called correctly. Loesch lifts it in the air to Hayward in right field, and there is out number 2 for Chris Medlin. So let's just take you back, show you this play here. Simmons dropping a bunt down with 1 out and runners at the corners.
You can see he's 3 feet inside of the line on the grass. Made it impossible for any kind of lane for Loesch to throw that baseball.
And if you're scoring at home, that is a 1-3 put out. Does anybody keep score anymore? Hope so. So 2 gone in the inning now. Top of the order for the Cardinals here is John Jay. 0 for 2 against Medlin.
Here's another guy that missed a lot of time for the Cardinals. Jay missed about 5 weeks with a bad shoulder.
Underrated, though, when you think about Furcal going down, their talented shortstop. He was their leadoff hitter. They had to insert the youngster Jay in there, and he took off.
He finished 9th in the league in hitting this year, hit .305. 0-2. And Medlin tries to go back in there. It was the play of John Jay that, in a roundabout way, helped the Cardinals win the World Series last year because he was so good they traded away Colby Rasmus and bolstered their bullpen. Little bouncer over to Uggla. And Medlin with a 1-2-3 inning. 4.5 in the books at Turner Field in Atlanta. Braves down a run. card presented by Budweiser. The historic first wild card game in Major League Baseball history. Turner Field, Atlanta. A sellout crowd, over 50,000 on hand here tonight. Winner advances. They will play the Washington Nationals. The loser will see an abrupt ending to their long season. Cardinals lead 3-2 behind Kyle Loesch. 3 runs scoring for St. Louis in the 4th. Only one of them was an earned run. It's a big error by Chipper Jones in that 4th. And now a swing inning for Kyle Loesch. Back at the top of the batting order, 3rd time through against Loesch as Michael Bourn leads off. He'll be followed by Prado and then Hayward.
We were talking in between innings. Nothing scientific here. Really just a race to have the lead after 6 innings. Both bullpens are set up. Both bullpens are extremely talented. The edge, though, goes to the Braves.
And packed houses in the bullpens tonight as Bourn knocked down by Loesch. Recovers and gets the speedy Bourn. What a play by Kyle Loesch. And one away in the 5th.
That's some athleticism. Either that or self-defense.
Just throw out the leather. You never know what can happen. Hits off the end of the glove and has enough wherewithal to get to the ball and make the play. Trainers and Matheny are out there, but Loesch has told him it just caught all leather.
Just waffled his glove, that's all.
In a perfect position to field that hot shot from Bourn.
Little shot put over to first.
They say that third base is the hot corner. Well, he was only about 55 feet away when that came back.
And who would know better than you?
It's a life of living, giving up line drives.
Martin Prado takes strike 1 from Loesch. Well, Loesch with 6 strikeouts through the first 4 innings. Had as many as 6 strikeouts in only 5 of his 33 starts this year. Loesch always wanted to be a strikeout pitcher. He used the 4-seam fastball, wanted to blow it by guys, but he said it was Dave Duncan when he came to the Cardinals prior to the 08 season that changed everything for him. Turned him into a contact pitcher, a guy who could get through a game with minimal pitches. Started throwing a 2-seam fastball more, the sinker that gets a lot of ground balls. This one's in the air off the bat of Prado, and out number 2 for Kyle Loesch.
Dave Duncan's done that for a lot of guys, helped their careers.
Joel Pinheiro is another pitcher that he turned into a 2-seam pitcher that had 2-3 great years in St. Louis. You know, in today's game where pitch count is everything, if you don't have overpowering stuff, that's what you have to do to get into the 7th and 8th innings, and that is why Loesch set his career high in innings this year with 211. Pitching coach Derek Lilliquist,
former Brave, a good hitting pitcher if I do recall.
The greatest hitting pitcher in the history of the game.
Might have had a couple of home runs off one of us.
Why do you say that?
There's Jason Hayward with 2 away. We talk about all the significant losses of the Cardinals. La Russa chief among them, and Albert Pujols, that is a big loss for Call's injury. Berkman, but Dave Duncan was a big part of what they do, and Derek Lilliquist, according to Kyle Loesch, has just carried the baton forward, and everything that Duncan did and the plan that he set up, Lilliquist handles as well. Remember, he was the pitching coach down the stretch for the Cardinals and into the postseason last year.
When you have guys like Chris Carpenter to his left, it makes you a much better pitching coach too.
2-0 to Hayward. That one misses away. 3 balls, no strikes.
That's 3 in a row that Molina has set up away, just trying to lure Jason into swinging at something that might be a little off the plate, and they've missed, so now they're in a 3-0 hole.
To the curveball. Actually, fastball, beg your pardon, in there for a strike. 3-1. The left-hander is Mark Zepchinski. Lance Lynn is the right-hander. Starting pitcher this year for the Cardinals. Now in the bullpen for this 1-game scenario. Hit it out of the glove of Molina. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Hayward.
in a wild card game, they probably have the relievers warm up a little at the hotel before they come over here so they can get loose quickly.
Well, like I said, it's a drag race, and maybe it is just a drag race to get to the 6th inning with the lead, as you said, Ron, and then turn it over.
Matheny has 10 pitchers. There's 9 relievers available tonight if need be. As Hayward sends it out to Matt Holliday, just shy of the warning track. Kyle Loesch, a 3-up, 3-down 5th. Never had a postseason win. He's up 1 now.
Is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
5 innings in the books here at Turner Field, Atlanta. Carlos Beltran ready to lead off for St. Louis. Cardinals lead 3-2. Braves had the early lead on a David Ross 2-run homer. That came in the 2nd. Cardinals scored 3 runs in the 4th. 2 of those runs were unearned off Chris Medlin. Gave up 2 hits and an error in that 4th inning. Medlin responded with a 3-up, 3-down 5th inning. And we'll go through the heart of this Cardinal batting order in the 6th. Beltran, Holliday, and Craig. 32 home runs this year, hitting 2nd for Mike Matheny tonight. He finished 5th in the league in home runs and is the Cardinals' club leader in homers.
And it really shows you the strength of this lineup with when you can have someone with 32 home runs hitting in the 2-hole.
I was thinking that about John Jay and what he's done for them in the leadoff spot.
There's a strike on the inside corner.
Teams are always talking about needing run producers and everything, but if you have a good, solid leadoff man like Rafael Furcal and lose him, sometimes that's the hardest spot in the order to replace.
Beltran into left center. Routine for Michael Bourne. Out number 1 for Medlin, and he's retired 6 in a row since Alan Craig's RBI double. I think that's 7 straight. I beg your pardon. And now Matt Holliday with 1 away. Holiday trying to nurse through a sore back, but was able to play in 157 games this season for St. Louis. Played in all but 5. And with the exit of Albert Pujols, the big bat of Matt Holliday, Molina moved up in the batting order, the addition of Beltran, and this offense just keeps humming this year without Pujols in it.
Holliday probably has the most experience in this kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
2007, win or go home against the San Diego Padres when he scored the winning run with his chin.
Like the 13th inning.
1-2 to Holiday, and that one's ripped deep left field, and there it goes. Matt Holliday unloads on one. 4-2 Cardinals as Matt Holliday hits a howitzer into the bleachers in left field. Showing that great power. Pitchers try to work him inside, but if you miss, look out.
Well, they'd started by working him away and thought they might sneak one by him in. Target wasn't inside, though.
No, they wanted that down and away. Medlin overthrew it. Came right back over the middle of the dish. And Holliday's so dangerous.
Quiets down this big crowd, this sellout here at Turner Field. 4-2 St. Louis, and now Alan Craig. Simmons, and a low throw dug out by Freddie Freeman. Outstanding first baseman Freeman. Freddie Gonzalez on seeing that home run by Holiday. It's made a lot of managers take deep breaths.
Postseason add-on runs were almost like 2 runs sometimes.
That, and you start feeling the pressure of wondering, okay, how much longer do I go with my starter?
Slow roller over to third. Jones has plenty of time with Molina running, and that'll retire the side. But Matt Holliday comes up big in the postseason once again. A long home run, and the Cardinals lead 4-2. Provided by Goodyear. Everything that Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Chipper Jones leads off. The man who has his number mowed into the center field grass. And the man who has committed a big error in this game, leading to a 3-run fourth. And now the Cardinals lead by 2 after the Matt Holliday home run in the top of this 6th inning. And if the Braves don't come back, it will be the final game in Chipper Jones' illustrious career of 19 years in the big leagues.
One thing about batting here in the 6th inning is that no matter what happens, it guarantees him at least one more at bat.
Trying to get an inning started for Atlanta against Kyle Loesch. And Jones pops this one up. Daniel Descalso for the first out. Jones is retired, and Kyle Loesch has retired 6 in a row now.
That's twice he's done that to Chipper, too. He did that his first time up. Got that fastball in on him when he struck him out.
And that'll bring up Freddie Freeman. He started what looked like was a big inning brewing for the Atlanta Braves. Had a single to lead off the 4th. Braves had 1st and 3rd with just 1 out. In that inning, Freddie Gonzalez told us the next half inning that he put on a safety squeeze with Andrelton Simmons. Simmons ran inside the baseline. The throw hit his helmet. He was called out. The next batter, the pitcher, Medlin, struck out, and Loesch was out of the thread. As Freeman sends one into left center, a base hit. Braves have a runner aboard. They'll bring the tying run to the plate as we check in with Matt Weiner in the studio. What do you have, Matt? All right, thank you, Matt. And a power hitter coming up for the Braves, representing the tying run, Dan Uggla.
I get to see the Braves play a lot, and I swear to you, I think Freddie Freeman someday is going to win himself a batting title.
He's only 23 years of age. He has 2 hits tonight, 2 of the 6 Atlanta hits. Uggla sends one in the air to left. Didn't quite get it. Got some carry as Holliday makes a catch. It just missed it on the bat. They were ready to roar here at Turner Field, and Uggla ends up flying out for the 2nd out of the inning.
One that came back to the middle of the plate. Had too much of the plate for Kyle Loesch, but fortunate that Uggla just got under it a little bit.
Yeah, Mike Matheny on his way out. He's gotten 5 2/3 out of Kyle Loesch, and he's going to make the call to the bullpen. David Ross doesn't normally see a lot of pitching changes, but he's going to get one here after he went deep against Loesch in the 2nd inning. As Matheny goes to his pen, Kyle Loesch will have a chance to win his first postseason game. Presented by Budweiser, we take you back to September 25th. The Atlanta Braves clinch a postseason berth in a big way. Freddie Freeman off the former Brave Mike Dunn of the Marlins, a walk-off home run, and the Braves sprayed that night, heading back to the postseason after a collapse last year. Great way to answer this season. Unfortunately, under the new format, they don't go into a best-of-5 series. They have to play this one-game elimination against the Cardinals. Budweiser, by the way, donated $5,000 for every walk-off win this year as part of a $2.5 million donation to the Folds of Honor Foundation, an organization dedicated to providing educational opportunities to families of fallen or injured soldiers. So Loesch is out. Lance Lynn is in.
Outstanding job by Kyle Loesch. When you look at Lance Lynn's season, it's really a tale of two stories. Got off to a great start when they put him in the rotation, when they knew Chris Carpenter was not going to be available, but then kind of got tired, and they put him back in the bullpen where he made 6 appearances.
And now David Ross. Now, Joe, you told us earlier, David Ross, an excellent fastball hitter. Matheny brings a fastball pitcher in the game in Lance Lynn, who was an 18-game winner this year for the Cardinals, mostly as a starter.
Yeah, 92 to 96 in his fastball.
And Ross pops it up. Ball's carrying a little bit. Back is Beltran, and that's that. So Matheny makes the call. Lynn strands the base runner, and the Cardinals still lead it 4-2. Atlanta Braves. This historic first wild card game coming up next on TBS. It's the American League wild card game between the Orioles and the Rangers. Ernie Johnson, John Smoltz, Cal Ripken Jr., and Craig Sager all have it covered. And Ron, it's Joe Saunders against Yu Darvish.
Well, the craftiness of Saunders against the power of Yu Darvish. Saunders, a guy that got in August, now pitching one of the biggest games, and Darvish, who wasn't with the club last year, signed as a free agent, pitching the big game for Texas. As Ron Washington says, momentum is only your next day pitcher, and they need a good effort from Darvish.
They've really got to regroup after that bad week in Oakland.
That's swept by the Athletics. Athletics won the division. The Rangers, like the Cardinals, the wild card team this year, one of the wild card teams. So the two World Series combatants end up in the wild card elimination game this season. As we check David Freese. Sack fly his last time up. And we check in with Tom Verducci. Tom.
Yeah, and for David Freese, that's just one more RBI in another elimination game. Now he's played in 5 postseason elimination games and is hitting .429 in those games with 10 RBIs. I asked him how he does it. And he talked about veteran leadership last year. Remember, he had no postseason experience last year. But guys like Albert Pujols and Lance Berkman gave him one lesson to take into the postseason. And he summed it up in 2 words: have fun.
Well, he was the NLCS MVP, was the World Series MVP, hit .397 in the postseason last year.
You won't see any more jerseys than that of David Freese in St. Louis. Local kid, found success.
Playing for his hometown team. 1-2 from Medlin, misses.
What makes Freese so tough is that he has tremendous power to right field.
And center field, as the Rangers found out.
Yeah. What a finish.
That one missed. A little bit low.
This figures to be Chris Medlin's last inning. He's due up second next inning.
That one did miss by much. David Ross turned the glove over. And Freese on the ground to Ugla. Bobbles. And throws it away. Wow. And now it gets by Ross. Freese on his way to second. Well, so the Atlanta Braves, the #1 defensive team of the National League, 2 errors in this game. The first one was very costly, and we'll see if this one is, as Ugla had a routine play bounce right off his chest.
Off the heel of his glove into his chest, and then he rushed the throw, and this wasn't even in the same area code as Freddie Freeman, who's 6'5" and couldn't reach it.
The problem happens is once you drop it, the panic sets in, and the result is a bad throw.
David Ross is in a good position to back it up, but it caromed off the wall by the on-deck circle.
And with that stacked 1-game elimination roster, you can change the rosters moving forward. Adron Chambers will pinch run for Mike Matheny. Specialty players in the postseason. That's not something we've seen a whole lot of. Matheny has a sizable bench to work with. 15 position players for this game. So speed at second base. And Descalso gets a bunt down. Medlin thought about third. He'll take the shore out. Sacrifice bunt for Daniel Descalso. And Chambers at third base.
After the throw there by Dan Ugla, you saw the ball bounce off, actually not the wall but the screen.
And now with a runner at third and 1 out, Freddie Gonzalez will take the ball from Chris Medlin. 4 runs at this point, 2 are earned, and he'll exit to a standing ovation at Turner Field. as Freddie Gonzalez will make the call to Chad Durbin. You can get your team's news first. Get the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report, and you'll never miss another big moment with your team. Download Team Stream on the App Store or Google Play. There's President Jimmy Carter. Braves fans got his hat on, hoping for a comeback tonight. And Ted Turner Field enjoying his own seat in this ballpark. Former Braves owner.
Well, the Braves are happy to see him back in the ballpark. Hoping he's a good luck charm, but not so far. Chad Durbin's the new pitcher for the Braves. Had a 1.84 ERA over his last 62 appearances, but he's brought in here because he's a good ground ball pitcher, and he's also been very good with inherited runners. But the infield will be in here with a guy at third.
Pete Kozma, St. Louis shortstop, at the plate.
Well, he's a young shortstop that came up labeled as a light hitting shortstop, great glove, but he got some big hits down the stretch for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he's here hitting with all that talent on the bench because they're ahead by 2 and they need his defense. Looking for a big hit.
Cardinals lead 4-2. Pitch out. Braves thinking perhaps a squeeze is on. Nothing doing.
Maybe they forgot Tony La Russa's not the manager anymore.
Good point. Chambers has great speed at third base, but on this roster to specifically be a pinch runner. There he is as Kozma takes a big cut.
Well, if you're Kozma, you want Durbin to get something up. He's got a good cutter, can run the ball down and in on you if you're a right-handed hitter. So anything up, you got to be hacking at. It looked like he got a breaking ball there and just missed it.
24-year-old shortstop taking over for Rafael Furcal. And Durbin missed away. Kozma didn't bite. 3-1.
Got to be patient here too. If you're Kozma, you wouldn't expect him to give in.
Swing and a miss.
He did. He threw one right there.
Right down the middle. 3-2 now on Kozma. Durbin in for Medlin. Medlin giving up 4 runs, 2 earned. Still a runner at third, his responsibility. Payoff pitch and a bouncing ball. Backhanded by Simmons. Bobbles coming to the plate. Throws it away. Kozma on his way to second. A poor throw from Simmons, and the Cardinals get another run. It's 5-2. And the best defensive team in the league is having anything but that kind of night tonight.
They are shooting themselves in the foot big time. Nice backhanded stop. Then again, Ron, the bobble, which caused some panic and a bad throw.
Yeah. Well, Durbin did his job. He got the ground ball. But once he didn't field that cleanly, Simmons had to go to first base. Inexperience.
Remember that low throw Simmons made? Freeman dug it out. Says he's had a little trouble throwing the baseball since he broke a pinky finger. And that's a big error again. Medlin's watched his defense fall apart here in this wild card game. Durbin out. Freddie Gonzalez back to the bullpen. Errors in this inning in the 7th inning. Ugla and Simmons, and a run scores for St. Louis. They lead 5-2 now. Next man up is Johnny Venters, hard-throwing left-hander. As Mike Matheny sent Matt Carpenter, a left-handed batter, he was announced. Freddie Gonzalez counters with Venters.
Carpenter led their team with 11 RBIs as a pinch hitter this year.
One out, runner at second. Here the 7th. Slow roller. That is going to stay foul. We can't help but think back to the Braves the last time they were in an elimination game. That was in the LDS 2 years ago against the San Francisco Giants, and all of the troubles they had defensively. Brooks Conrad at second base, and now tonight 3 costly errors for Atlanta. Very uncharacteristic of them in the regular season.
Steady defensive ball club all year long, and again kind of wearing it out, but the best fielding percentage in the National League. Fewest errors.
It's Cosma at second. He runs well. Carpenter takes one off the plate.
The immediacy of this wild card format sure has to cause some nerves, and it seems like it has for the Braves.
Slow roller. This will stay fair, and going to be trouble. Venters didn't get the tag on him. Save. Cosma scores. Pete Cosma flying around the bags, never slowed down, and he scores the 6th Cardinal run. Venters missed Carpenter.
What a great piece of base running. Jose Oquendo waving him around as Venters and Freeman couldn't decide who was going to field the ball. And when Venters picked it up, his momentum carrying him away from home plate allowed Cosma just to keep running.
So that'll be an infield hit for Matt Carpenter. Give him an RBI as he plates a runner from second base on an infield hit.
You're taught anytime there's a runner on second and you either have to cover first base or make a play at first base, you always have to be aware that there's a runner rounding third.
Top of the order. Here's John Jay, high and tight.
Practice that all spring training with your pitcher's fielding practice.
2 runs in for St. Louis.
Just a great piece of heads up running though by the kid Cosma.
So now for St. Louis, Mike Matheny has his bullpen set up the way he wants it. It's not the mix and match bullpen that we saw from Tony La Russa last year. Very defined roles in that bullpen from the 7th inning on. Cosma took a peek. Oquendo sent him home and scores without a throw.
Boy, I think, Joe, that was more on the young shortstop stealing that run.
I do too. Oquendo was kind of watching the play and just kind of pointed to home plate.
He just agreed with him.
Yeah. Right.
Jay, a hot one out to short. Simmons will take it himself. And a double play to end the inning. But damage done. The Braves porous defensively. 2-run score. It's now 6-2 St. Louis.
percentage, but a lot of the plays that they've had in the infield, 3 of their 4 infielders have made errors, and every single error seemed to be the same. A little panic, a little rush, and a bad throw. And even the rookie Simmons at shortstop blocks it, rushes to throw to home plate. It causes the Cardinals to score that run and an extra one later.
And that error by Chipper Jones in the 4th led to 3 runs for St. Louis, 2 runs scoring with 2 errors in the 7th inning. Bottom of the 7th we go, and Simmons ready to lead off. Got some changes here for St. Louis. Matt Carpenter will enter the game at third base after a pinch hit infield single and an RBI. Take over for David Freese, and the new pitcher is Edward Mujica, and this is the guy, Ron, that Mike Matheny said was the unsung trade of the trade season. When they got Mujica, they settled their 7th inning down.
Well, they said, but the biggest problem they had earlier in the year, they could not get the ball to their closer, Mott. So they got Mujica in a trade, not a highly publicized trade. He came over and was unbelievable.
He's done his best pitching for the Cardinals in 29 games for St. Louis, a 1.03 ERA, 21 strikeouts in 26 innings for them. He throws hard. He's in the low 90s with an excellent split finger pitch. If there's hope for the Braves, it's that they hit him pretty hard when he was with the Marlins. He was in 5 games against Atlanta, 3 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, including a homer. So they know him pretty well.
And with that split finger, he's a crossover pitcher, a guy that gets not only right-handers but left-handers out.
Edward Mujica from the Marlins to the Cardinals, and Andrelton Simmons ready to lead off. How good has Mujica been as a Cardinal? Well, in 29 games with St. Louis, he's given up just 3 earned runs. An ERA of 1.03 as a Cardinal. Matheny likes Mujica in the 7th, Mitchell Boggs in the 8th, and Jason Mott in the 9th.
I think the hardest thing in baseball to scout are these bridge relief pitchers. They're with one team, they can't get anyone out. They have a change of scenery, and they have great years.
Yeah, what happened? Well, it's going to take a big inning, though, to get back in this ball game now because of the Braves' defense and what it's done to them. The Cardinals, again, as we said earlier, are a very opportunistic team, taking advantage of every mistake.
Bottom of the order to start it here. Simmons, the 8th place hitter. Freddie Gonzalez will have a pinch hitter next, and then back to the top.
Big inning will be very difficult to assemble against this good bullpen for St. Louis.
Jose Constanza looks like he's ready to hit next as Simmons chases one, pops it up. Cosma wants it, and he's got it for the out. The bridge inning, it's a big one, and Mike Matheny loves the fact that Mujica is now a Cardinal, and Tom Verducci with more on that story.
Yeah, General Manager John Mozeliak tried really hard in July to try to fix that bridge, and he kept knocking on the door of the Marlins to get this man, Mujica, and he has definitely improved the bullpen. Over the course of the season, the 6th and 7th innings, only the Chicago Cubs allowed more runs than the St. Louis Cardinals in the National League, but those numbers have gone down with the addition of Mujica.
They made a big trade last year with the Toronto Blue Jays to shore up their bullpen as Constanza takes a ball. We mentioned the play of John Jay allowed the Cardinals to trade Colby Rasmussen. They got 2 huge pieces in that deal in the bullpen, and they got Edwin Jackson as well. But Mark Zepchinski came over from the Blue Jays, Octavio Dotel, and Tony La Russa wasn't afraid to use him in the postseason last year. Constanza pinch hitting. Two balls and a strike, and that one's hit well right center field. That's going to get down. Constanza can fly. It's going to go to the wall. Racing around second. Jay brings it back in, and it'll be a triple for Constanza.
Fastball down the middle. And anytime a ball gets in the gap with Costanza running, it's almost an automatic triple.
Well, whatever book the Cardinals had on Costanza, he burns him with it. John Jay was in left center field to start that. And Costanza ends up with a triple. He beats the outfield shift. Runner at third with one out. And Michael Bourne at the plate. Fouls it away.
You can see Jay way over in left center, and that defensive alignment got crossed up by a mistake by the pitcher.
To the count. That nasty split finger fastball from Mujica. Well, the Braves must take advantage of this spot.
You bet.
Down
Infield back. Infield back. Just put it in place somewhere.
Cardinals will gladly concede the run to get it out as Bourne takes one just off the plate. Close pitch. A little bit low. Bourne has a hit tonight. He's 1 for 3. Those 3 at-bats against Kyle Loesch. Still in line for the win. Loesch 0-4 in his career in the postseason. Went 5 2/3 tonight. 2 earned runs. Mark Zepchinski, the left-hander, on the right. And Trevor Rosenthal, the hard-throwing right-hander. Bouncing ball. And this will bring in a run. So Bourne is out. The Braves get their 3rd run, an RBI for Bourne, but 2 outs in the inning now and nobody on. 6-3 St. Louis.
Well, you never want to give up a run, but I'm sure the Cardinals will trade that run for an out right there.
Yeah, they're very confident in what they've got ready for the Braves the last 3 innings of the game, even though they gave up a run there. With that 4-run cushion to start this inning, they're in good shape. In good shape in case something happens, like the triple, where single runs are not going to be that damaging.
Martin Prado with the bases empty and 2 away. But the heavy hitters coming up. If Prado could reach, Hayward would be next.
Just a conventional, solid defensive game by the Braves would have probably put him in the lead here.
Chipper Jones hoping for an at-bat in this inning with some men on base. 2 balls and a strike. Atlanta got a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the 2nd inning from David Ross. Loesch settled down, pitch well. Another run is in here.
The guys, Cardinals only have 4 hits, so it's not like, with the exception of Holiday's homer, that they've been peppering the ball all over the place. It's the 3 errors that have really helped mightily. Only 1 man left on base for them.
Prado in the hole, base hit. The inning continues with 2 away. Gave him a fastball, and Prado extends this 7th inning, and that's going to be the last hitter that Mujica will face as Matheny takes the ball. And back to the bullpen. Jason Hayward coming up. Braves still alive in the 7th. Baltimore Orioles in 1997. 6-3 here in Atlanta, and Mike Matheny's going to go with the matchup. The left-hander Zepchinski, Mark Zepchinski, to face the left-handed hitting Jason Hayward.
Well, Zepchinski was used in 70 games this summer. He came over in that trade you talked about, Brian. A lefty specialist made for these moments.
St. Louis leading 6-3. A man on with 2 away as Hayward takes strike 1. Chipper Jones is on deck. Hitless tonight, Hayward. A strikeout, 2 outs in the air. Jones hoping for a shot. And Hayward. James playing deep. That's got a chance. It falls. A base hit. Hayward on his way to second. A double for Hayward. Prado ends up at third. And Chipper Jones will have his shot representing the tying run.
Jason Hayward trying to make sure he didn't bail out on Zepchinski, and his delivery got jammed a little bit. When the ball squirted away, he decided to move himself into scoring position with some good hustle.
You know, in some ways, the ground ball hit by Prado, the bloop by Hayward. The Braves looking for a blast from Jones.
Time for an opportunity for Chipper to redeem himself a little bit after the error.
You know, when you watch these postseason games, you come to these moments and you say to yourself, this might be the last moment for the Braves to get back in this game.
On the ground. And that's it. Boy, what a job Zepchinski with all of that surrounding Chipper Jones at Turner Field. Makes easy work of him. Inning over. 6-3 Cardinals. kind. 2 wild card teams in a 1-game playoff, an elimination game. The winner advances to take on the division winning Nationals. 6-3 St. Louis. Carlos Beltran grounds out. Nice play for the first out of the inning, as Eric O'Flaherty, the new Braves pitcher, on the first pitch gets it out. Chipper Jones just coming off making the final out, stranding 2 runners, makes an excellent play for out number 1.
Eric O'Flaherty, good numbers this year. He got off to a slow start, but since May 4th, he has an ERA of 0.73.
Coming off a season last year where his ERA was sub 1, 0.98. So back-to-back great years for O'Flaherty.
Braves have used Medlin, Durbin, Venters, who got the double play ball. And now O'Flaherty is. Holiday goes to right field, a base hit. Holiday with a home run in the 6th inning, ripped one to left into the bleachers, just shoots one to right field for a single. And on base for the 4th time tonight. Just a reminder that Sunday on MLB Network, it's ALDS Game 2. See Cespedes and the A's take on the Detroit Tigers and Triple Crown winner Miguel Cabrera. Coverage begins Sunday at noon Eastern, only on MLB Network. Go to MLBnetwork.com for the channel number. A 1-out base runner, Alan Craig, steps in, takes strike 1. Craig doubled in a run near the 4th inning. Put the Cardinals on the board in that 4th inning. They were down 2-0 at the time. And a bouncer that's going to sneak through for a base hit. And here come the Cardinals with 2 on and 1 man out. Holiday and Craig with singles.
Again, the highest on base percentage in the National League. They are relentless. Up and down their lineup, they put the ball in play. They don't strike out a lot. They walk a lot. They have good knowledge of the strike zone. Just a very good lineup.
And you're asking your left-hander O'Flaherty to go through the switch hitting Beltran, right-handed hitting Holiday, Craig, Molina, so on and so on.
And now to be Molina. Boy, how fast it can turn. The Braves sitting there with a chance to possibly tie the game. A base hit to make it a 1-run game with Chipper Jones at the plate. With the ground out, stranding 2, and now the Cardinals come right back and put the pressure on. And the Cardinals have a lead after 7. Hasn't been locked down, but it's been good. 78-5. And a much better bullpen, more organized bullpen for Matheny once they acquired Mujica. So far tonight, the Cardinals with 2 hits with runners in scoring position, 2 for 4. Braves 1 for 5.
The only other inning where they've had more than 1 hit was the 4th, when they capitalized on Jones's error and scored 3 times.
Now remember, the Braves won 23 consecutive games that Chris Medlin started. That's on the line here tonight. Medlin went 6 1/3, 5 runs, but only 2 of them earned tonight. 2 balls and a strike on Molina, and a hot one to Jones. He's got it to second for 1. Ugra, a high throw. Freeman saves an error, and a double play to end the inning. A great play by Freddie Freeman, as the Braves tried to throw another one away. No damage done, however. Excellent play by Freeman. Braves coming up in the 8th. MLB.tv. Get started now at MLB.com. Bottom of the 8th, running out of outs. The Atlanta Braves, they are down 3. The Cardinals have taken advantage of some sloppy defense by Atlanta. Mitchell Boggs out of the bullpen. Mike Matheny's 8th inning pitcher, his setup man, and he takes over here in the 8th with a 3-run lead to work with.
Well, he's one of those pitchers in the bullpen that has emerged unscathed here late in the season. From August on, throws 96 to 98 with a hard slider.
Did not give up a run his last 6 outings of the regular season. As Freeman, a cut and a miss, and it's 0-2 on Freddie Freeman, who has 2 hits tonight.
He sets up a lot like Craig Kimbrell of the Braves with that kind of left foot in front of the right, back kind of to home plate when he comes set.
With overly closed stance, all you can see is the number.
And he can bring it just like Kimbrell, who was warming up in the Braves pen.
Boggs had a 2.21 ERA this year. All of those games out of the bullpen. There were no saves for any other Cardinal other than Jason Mott this season. He saved every game for St. Louis. And that's partly because Mott was very good, but also Boggs was excellent in his role. Now it stays to the ball and 2 strikes on Freddie Freeman. Cardinals trailed early 2-0 after the David Ross homer. Took the lead in the 4th and have not trailed since. They have not given up that lead since the 3-run 4th inning. He hit the bull.
I was just watching Molina when he gave the sign. He put his glove on the ground like, you know, I want this one in the dirt, bounce one up here. And he didn't even get leather on it. That was so far off the mark.
Usually someone drops into the water when that happens, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, the obnoxious clown. Mike Matheny and Derek Lilliquist talking it over. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You need to put a little chalk on his fingers so it's a little easier for Mitchell Boggs to see the signs.
And now it goes full 3-2. Dan Uggla due up next.
No secret here, a 3-run lead. You just got to throw your best fastball down the middle.
And Freeman fights it off. The 7th pitch of the at-bat. Freeman's only faced Boggs twice. He's 1 for 2 against him. Way inside. Threw another one to the backstop. 2 clowns in the water. And Freeman is aboard. And now they rev it up here. Turner Field once again.
Just as far inside as the other one was outside.
Well, when you have a team late down by 3 runs, one of the things you cannot do is let them get back in by your lack of control.
Remember, Freddie Gonzalez still has Brian McCann on the bench. Dan Uggla after a leadoff walk to Freeman. And a little half swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Mike Winters says he did not check it, and it's 0-1. Cardinals set up to turn 2 on a ground ball. And Uggla grounds one right to Cosma. He bobbles a little bit. The turn not in time. That cost him a double play. Descalso was there, but that little hesitation put him in harm's way with Freeman barreling him on him. And Uggla beats it out.
The web of his glove, so when he first reached for it, he didn't get it.
Is there a sicker feeling for a second baseman to be standing there waiting on a toss? And Uggla hustles his way safe at first.
Cosmo saying my bad. Descalso saying I know.
It's no error. Cardinals get the lead out at second base. Here is David Ross. Strike one.
Well, the move to put him in the lineup certainly has paid off today. He's had some good at-bats, including, and not just including, his home run in the second inning.
McCann going with a Visine. Got his batting gloves on. And Ross, a line drive back up the middle. Uggla will hold his ground at second base. David Ross with a 3-hit night. And once again, the Braves will bring the tying run to the plate.
And again, a fastball, and David Ross can hit anybody's fastball, and teed off on this one.
How about David Ross? 2-run homer in the second, bunted for a single. Now a line drive single. McCann moves into the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot due up next. Here is Andrelton Simmons. It looks like he was trying to leave.
One of the things the Braves have done all year long is work counts and really work up pitch counts on pitchers a lot of times and get them out of the game early. But there's another bit of youthful exuberance on the part of Simmons in a hurry there to try to hit one hard somewhere. Even though Boggs has had trouble getting ahead in the count.
Simmons able to lay off. Tough slider from Mitchell Boggs. 3 home runs during the regular season. Simmons played in just 49 games for Atlanta this year.
Well, you want your young hitter with instructions of just keep the train moving. You know, you're not a home run hitter. If you run into one, great. Jason Mott up already here in the 8th.
Might see him face Brian McCann. Ball and 2 strikes on Simmons. Simmons has an error tonight. Errors from second, short, and third base for the Braves in their infield tonight. And that bobble by the rookie shortstop for the Cardinals. Cosmo costs the Cardinals a double play. One and 2.
Rally caps, panhandling, whatever it takes.
Inside, ball 3.
That wasn't a bad pitch at all. It was just a little bit in off the plate, but Simmons chased that ball first pitch of the at-bat, and he went right back to it. This time the kid didn't offer.
Well, Simmons has worked it into a full count. Big pitch coming here with 1 away. Simmons, fly ball, shallow left. Back is Cosma. He'll take it. He'll call. Oh, it's going to drop. It falls. Miscommunication. And the bases are loaded, and Boggs can't believe it.
This crowd has been crazy. This crowd's been crazy all night. I wonder if it affected their communication.
They're calling it an infield fly rule. Wow. One umpire did. That's why Freddie Gonzalez is out. Well, this is a huge call here.
You cannot call that an infield fly.
No way.
It's too deep. He wasn't camped.
ball went up, and infield fly rule was called immediately. This is a game-changing decision.
You know, this is what happens occasionally when you add extra umpires down the right field and left field line. You have extra umpires. Sometimes you have extra callers. The Braves got one call early on David Ross. They've been paying for it ever since.
Infield fly rule is the call. Simmons is going to be out.
It has to be a call where the infielder has a legitimate chance to catch the ball without a whole lot of effort.
Base runners are on their own when the infield fly rule is called, but the batter is out. An unbelievable call here. Wow. 2 outs. Which umpire called it? That is the left field umpire, Sam Holbrook.
Oh, this is not good. Fans are throwing stuff on the field all over the ballpark. I got to stop this.
Matheny and Gonzalez got to get their players off the field.
This is embarrassing for Atlanta fans. Now there are bottles and cans that are falling short and landing on fans down in the seats close to the field.
Wow. We're going to have a significant delay here. Very disappointing from the Turner Field fans. You can understand their frustration, but never take the steps to throw something on the field like this.
This is absolutely embarrassing for Atlanta fans.
Chipper Jones's maybe last game in an Atlanta Braves uniform. This is what we see.
A game-changing decision by Sam Holbrook here as Andrelton Simmons pops it up, but it's deep. It's into left field. The left field umpire raises the finger.
Wow.
Infield fly. And it was
late. Very late decision, too.
Saw it right away.
It was a late call by Holbrook, and I'm wondering if when he yelled infield fly, if that's why Cosma came off the ball. Maybe he heard that sound.
Could have been. Could have been. The crowd's been so loud. The problem for the communication between the fielders could have been just noise.
It's just a different perspective. You're making a call in a position that you haven't umpired all season long.
Right.
4 umpires throughout the regular season. They add the outfield umpires mostly to pick up traps and home run balls down the line.
Still,
I'm not sure. It was such a late call. Cosma, I mean, that ball's in left field. If Holiday,
I just can't imagine. And we didn't see him put his arm up until Sam Holbrook did. But Jeff Nelson's the third base umpire. And when you're umpiring at third, when you see a ball go out that far, you're not as apt to call an infield fly when you're seeing a guy go that far, as opposed to a left field umpire who's standing right there and it doesn't look as deep.
There's a phrase in baseball that says camped. Are you camped under the baseball? And he certainly was not camped on that drive by Simmons or pop up by Simmons.
the putout goes F6 officially. Cosmo will get credit for the putout as the cleanup continues here at Turner Field. So instead of the bases loaded and McCann coming up, it's going to be 2 on with 2 out. I mean, that is deep in left field. No way that's an infield flyer. And it was so late. I don't think Cosmo heard the umpire. Maybe he did, but he pulled off so late.
It's just a different perspective when you're making that call. Your view from left field is that the shortstop is even with you, as opposed if you're at third base, you can see him going back. You can see that it's going to be a tougher play of communication between the left fielder and the shortstop.
I definitely agree with that.
And debris still coming on the field. A bottle just almost hit a security guard.
I can't believe no one was hit, and maybe they were and we didn't see it.
One came dangerously close to Sam Holbrook.
but there's still fans throwing stuff on the field, and the ushers and security people have got to get a grip on this, especially in the lower section of the stands.
We will take a timeout as they clean up here at Turner Field. Braves still batting. 2 outs, 2 on. But a game changer here with that call. Raining down. A call, an infield fly rule call on a ball that landed in shallow left field. That is what the fuss is about, as Mitchell Boggs has been sent to his dugout as well. He's in the game pitching. So it's 6-3 Cardinals. The Braves are still up. Have McCann coming up. And 2 outs in the inning as we check in with Tom Verducci. Tom, what do you know here?
Have you got your hard hat on, Tom?
Yeah, well, I can tell you that some of the players actually did have to dodge cans and water bottles that were coming off the field. But the Braves' argument really is about 2 specific portions of the infield fly rule. Number 1, that it should be called with an ordinary effort by an infielder to make the play. Of course, they believe that was not a fly ball that caused or required ordinary effort. The second part of the rule is that the umpire shall make the call immediately for the benefit of the umpires. And I think the Braves had an issue with the time of when the call was made. So the ordinary effort by the infielder and the immediacy of the call, at least in the Braves' opinion, did not apply.
Well, Tommy, it's not only, you got it right there, it's not only to let the other umpires know in the infield fly rule, it's to let the players know what is going on the field. And that was called way too late for the infield fly.
And the reason it's called early is so that the rule states that a player can advance at his own risk. Well, if the infield fly is called right away, then you normally would go right back to your bag and tag up. This was not the case here. You see the runners are halfway, waiting to see what's going to happen. And then the late call. Ordinary effort, I thought that was above and beyond ordinary effort.
Yeah, the 2 check marks against both of those. And you wonder if Freddie Gonzalez ever thought about, before he left, placing the game under protest.
Right. Good point. And the umpires came together immediately, but obviously there's no overturning here. It's an infield fly roll. The call is made. Runner stopped down at that point. It would have been bases loaded for Atlanta with 1 out. They had McCann ready to hit. There's still time. There are still outs left for Atlanta and in this game. But this is a big moment in this game, and the judgment of the umpire that it was an infield fly. Now that rule is in effect, so an infielder doesn't drop a pop-up on purpose and turn it into 2 outs or a triple play.
Yeah.
It'd be a double play in this scenario. It protects the offensive team, but this did anything but in this scenario.
Well, I don't know if Freddie Gonzalez did place the game under protest. It probably is one that can't be protested because it's it's based on what the umpire sees.
Yeah, I would think not. It does not excuse the Braves fans for what they've done here. tonight in the aftermath. There are still things being thrown out on the field from the upper deck, and it's just got to stop.
So that's what the delay is. We'll take another timeout, and when we come back on the other side, we'll check in with the studio and Matt Weiner, Boomer Wells, and Dennis Eckersley. A moment ago, but Freddie Gonzalez just a moment ago, and the reason we're back here is because Freddie Gonzalez went to the home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg, and he put the game under protest. And Kellogg gives the sign, the P, under protest from the Braves manager.
I don't think I've ever seen that sign before.
Me neither.
Now the next step, Mike Matheny has been out there talking to the umpires. How long is too long for Mitchell Boggs? He's the pitcher that was in the game, and Matheny's already waved in Jason Mott. This changes, because of the delay, not the call, but the delay changes how he'll continue this inning. So here comes Mott. The Cardinals are coming back on the field. Mott will get the time he needs to get loose as we send it back down to Tom Verducci.
Well, guys, I can tell you there was a lot of discussion in the dugout about making this protest, because under a protest you really have to protest a rule book violation or a rule book rule that was not applied properly. You could not protest, or at least successfully, a judgment call. So the Braves obviously grasping a little bit out of straw, but hoping that this was a case where the rule was not properly applied and not just a judgment call they didn't agree with.
I think that's exactly right, Tom. It may not be a rule book violation as much as the way it was interpreted, and there may be some grounds for that. In which case,
there's more debris coming on the field now as the Cardinals have taken the field.
if the protests were upheld, then the game would resume at the point of this. Once it's completed and the protest is upheld, you would resume the
bases loaded and one out.
Bases loaded, one out.
The young shortstop Simmons has been in the middle of the two biggest plays.
That's right.
The interference at first base and the pop up to left field.
When would you resume the game?
I'm not doing anything later.
Good call. I mean, after midnight, it's officially tomorrow. Wow, what a scene here. What a moment. What a big call. Remember, as Tom mentioned, the rule book stating ordinary effort is why he makes that call, or an umpire makes the infield fly rule call. Cosmo was out. He was waving Matt Holliday off, but he was so deep in left field. So we've had a significant delay here with debris coming on the field. Jason Mott is on the mound loosening, the Cardinal closer. And when we do finally get back to play here, we are going to have a serious moment with Brian McCann due to hit. Now I will say this, because on an infield fly rule the runners are at their own risk, I believe they'll be allowed to go second and third.
Yes, yeah, they'll be at second and third because there was the non-play, the ball that fell in between Cosma and Holliday.
So it's going to be a double switch for Matheny, by the way, with Mott in the game. Umpire still.
My issue now, Brian and Joe, is how do you protect the umpires that are on third and first and down the lines if they're going to continue to throw debris? Do you have a security guard right near them?
It's Jeff Kellogg on the phone.
You've
assuming he's helping the MLB officials.
Almost the way things have gone, you've almost got to station some security guards on top of the dugout and kind of keep an eye on what's coming out.
Send it back down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, Ron made a great point about really it hasn't stopped, and the players at the edges and umpires of the field have remained in danger. In fact, during that last conversation among Freddie Gonzalez and the umpires, Jeff Kellogg was hit by a small liquor bottle, the kind you will find on an airplane. It did bounce before it hit him, but then they had to move the conversation closer to the middle of the field and out of harm's way. So clearly there is a concern about the safety of players and umpires at this point.
Thank you, Tom. We are 15 minutes into this delay for the debris on the field, and if you're just picking us up, it's been an infield fly rule call that led to the second out. Again, it goes as an F6 on Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, and a couple of the umpires, including Jeff Kellogg, just went down in the tunnel with Freddie Gonzalez. I don't know if it was to watch video or not.
Watch how late the call is there by Holbrook. That's not a reasonable time, and it's not an easily catchable ball.
Matt Holliday was so deep in left field, and now, as a matter of fact, during this delay, because Mott's coming in, Matheny's made the double switch. He's removed Holliday from the game. Shane Robinson will take over in left field.
In the meantime, you put the Cardinals in harm's way. They've been out there for so long.
Right.
These are the errors. This could have been a double play. Chipper throws it away. A little panic here by Dan Uggla at second base, and he throws this one away. And this ball to Simmons, the rookie, panics, throws it past Ross.
That was in the seventh inning. Those two errors,
and then the pop up by Simmons, 30, 40 feet deep. Is Cosma and Holliday. Neither of them make the play, and the late call there by Sam Holbrook down the left field line, signaling the infield fly rule.
Jeff Kellogg finally back out. No umpire wants to be in a position like this.
If he goes over to Mike Matheny, this is going to be nuts. That means they're going to change the call.
I think so too.
Let's see. No argument from Matheny.
And no base runner at first.
Okay. So it will stay, and we'll try to find out what that was all about as soon as we can.
Well, maybe he had to inform Matheny that the game is going to be played under protest.
All right.
Well, even though Jeff Kellogg gave the protest sign with the P, no announcement has come from the press box to make that official, even though you and I and Brian saw it, Ron, that he was definitely making that sign.
All right, back to baseball here. Mott on the mound, the Cardinal closer. 18-minute delay after the debris. Got a new left fielder as well. St. Louis tightening up their defense with Shane Robinson. And one of the top closers in the league, Jason Mott, with 42 saves this year. Brian McCann at the plate representing the tying run. And now timeout call from right field. Carlos Beltran noticing some debris coming onto the field.
12 times Mott has pitched more than an inning this year. 5 saves, 2 blown, as things are still coming in, especially in right field.
Grounds crew working as hard as they can to try to clean it up as fast as they can.
This is becoming a joke.
Very embarrassing.
I mean, how do you feel if you're Beltran out there in right field with your back to the crowd?
And a pressure spot coming up. Pitcher and hitter stepping back. All right, here we go. Second and third, 2 outs. And Mott misses up and away.
Well, Ross was the big move, and putting him in the lineup. Is McCann going to be the hero?
Brian McCann said he'd hope to get a chance to help his club tonight. He's got that chance. 2 balls and no strikes.
0 for 4 this year as a pinch hitter, and he's 0 for 3 in his career against Mott.
Hasn't been the same hitter that made him a 6-time All-Star. McCann dealing with an injured shoulder. And he fouls that one away.
97 on that pitch from Mott.
Mike Matheny going to ask Jason Mott to get the final 4 outs.
Mott pitched a short game out there in the bullpen, and then the wait.
2 balls and a strike on McCann. And inside a ball. 3-1.
I think whenever you take any closer, any reliever, and take them out of their routine, there's always aftershocks.
Hitters count for McCann. And ball 4. Bases loaded for the Braves. 2 outs, back to the top of the order, and that guarantees Chipper Jones will get an at-bat here, at least one more. McCann will be lifted for a pinch runner. Tyler Pastornicki off the Braves bench. Started the year as the opening day shortstop, and now representing the tying run in this first wild card game.
And has good speed. And the Braves had a hard time all year long hitting with runners in scoring position, one of the lowest numbers in the league. But Michael Bourne was the best Brave in that situation.
Bourne fouls it away. He hit .313 this year with runners in scoring position.
With a 3-run lead, the outfield is extremely deep. Alan Craig is on the line at first base. No doubles.
There's the tying run. Jason Mott saved all of the Cardinals games this year. No other Cardinal had a save. Mott with 42, first time in franchise history. He tied Craig Kimbrell for the league lead with 42 saves. 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bourne. 2-1.
A lot of adrenaline flowing through Jason Mott in light of what's happened here this inning. Overthrowing a little bit. And Molina with a good trip to the mound to try to settle him down a little bit.
Well, that's what he's done since his rookie season, Molina. He's a leader back there.
And his manager talked today about how Mike Matheny was known for his great defense and calling a good game. And he said, not once have I had to second guess what Yadier Molina has called in ball games.
Bases loaded. 2-1 as Bourne takes a ball, and it's 3-1.
This has got to be a real small strike zone here for Michael Bourne. He's got to make him throw it right in one spot that he likes.
Full count. Had a big cut right down the middle. And now the runners will get a head start. 3-2 with 2 outs. There they go. Bourne swings and misses, and Mott, a huge strikeout. And the Atlanta Braves come up empty. In the 8th, they strand the bases loaded. Cardinals still lead.
He came back despite getting behind Michael Bourne with high fastball, but when he had to, he came right after him with the 3-pitch and the 3-2 fastball by Michael Bourne.
What a huge out for Jason Mott, coming all the way back. Looked like he was struggling to find the strike zone, but he comes back down 3-1, punches out Michael Bourne, the Braves' best hitter in the clutch this year. And now we look at the other side of the closer story. Craig Kimbrell, with his club down 3 runs, an unfamiliar position for him. He saved 42 this year. He blew just 3 saves. And facing Shane Robinson, who entered the game for Matt Holliday defensively. Cardinals avoid a huge threat, keep their 3-run lead intact, and remember, Mott will sit down. He'll be back on the mound to go the 9th.
Don't forget about that trip to the mound by Molina, too, and what effect it might have had on him.
One thing's for certain, Chipper Jones will indeed get another at-bat. He's due up 3rd in the 9th inning for the Braves. Mott just trying to stay revved up. Toughest thing for a closer to go have to sit down between innings. And Robinson into center field. Michael Bourne. And there's out number 1 as we check in with Matt Weiner in our studio. Matt. Thank you, Matt. Looking forward to that American League wild card as Descalso on the first pitch. Out to left field for Prado. And every out that goes into the outfield, this Turner Field crowd is saying infield fly. These deep fly ball outs. This game is under protest, by the way.
Remember, it doesn't matter where the ball is. It can be in the outfield to call infield fly, but it's got to be ordinary effort to catch the ball, and it's got to be in due time. The call made. Sam Holbrook felt like he met both criteria.
So Kimbrel with 2 quick outs. Pete Kozma takes a ball down and in, and a role that is designed to protect the offense, protect the base runners. Did just the opposite in that scenario. Kimbrel, one of the game's best, has emerged into one of the dominant closers in all of baseball. Had a rough finish to his season last season. Led the league last season in saves, and then again this year. But he carried that dominance through the important months of the season in those stretch of September and the first few games in October. There's a strike. 1 and 2 on Kozma.
I would say that his season, Kimbrel's season, is rivaled by very few in terms of closers and striking out half of the batters he faced all year. That's never happened before.
Struck him out. 1-2-3 inning for Kimbrel. Stage is set to the bottom of the 9th. Prado, Hayward, and Chipper Jones in what might be his final at bat. Up 6-3. Their closer is on the mound. Mott got a huge strikeout, punching out Michael Bourne with the bases loaded last inning. Trying to get the final 4 outs and send the Cardinals to the LDS against Washington. Prado takes strike 1. Prado, Jason Hayward, then Chipper Jones. And there is strike 2, 0-2 the count. Jason Mott has gone more than an inning this season on 7 different occasions for the regular season. He had 5 saves in those 7 opportunities and a 1.35 earned run average. One ball, 2 strikes. He looked completely out of sorts when he came in. You can't blame him after the delays. Came in from the bullpen. Looked like he was ready to start again, and then there was another delay with debris on the field. He walked McCann, then struck out Bourne after falling behind him 3-1. Now a clean inning to start. And Prado on the ground to second base. Descalso out number 1. This game is under protest by Freddie Gonzalez, and for more on that, we send it down to Tom Verducci.
As the normal protocol for a protest is basically a 24-hour window for review, issue of ruling, and issue of written report. But obviously, this is a unique circumstance with the Division Series matchup hanging in the balance. Now, to expedite the process, we do have Major League Vice Presidents Joe Torre and Joe Garagiola on site here. And I'm told that Major League Baseball would like to move it along as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Tom. And we will bring that news to you as fast as we get it.
Jason Mott is airing it out, guys. The last 2 pitches to Prado, 98 and 99.
Jason Hayward takes strike 1. Just pouring in the strikes now is Mott. He's so big for the Cardinals in the postseason last year, and yet Tony La Russa would never announce him as his closer, even though he was closing games.
He's done pretty well for an old catcher from Iona.
That one's in the air, almost in the same spot, but Robinson will make the play, and out number 2. The Cardinals an out away from advancing into the League Division Series, and now the spotlight shines on Chipper Jones, possibly coming to the plate for the final time of his career at Turner Field.
How about the storybook stuff here?
Yadier Molina go out to the mound, step out in front of the plate. He's even clapping his glove, and everyone in the St. Louis Cardinals bench is up, some clapping.
Oh, what a moment.
Classic move by Molina, not surprising.
2 outs. Here's Chipper Jones. And flash bulbs popping everywhere at Turner Field. Chipper's parents, his 2 sons.
Very emotional week for his parents, seeing this come to an end.
Headed to Cooperstown. One of the great switch hitters of all time, Chipper Jones, 468 lifetime home runs, a career .303 hitter. And it's a ball and 2 strikes.
Chipper trying to match the heat of Mott just one more time.
Well, he's going to have to get started a little sooner. He's going to have to cheat to get to it. Meaning, start his swing a little earlier.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Braves down to their last strike, and Jones lays off. 2-2. And you know, Chipper Jones is saying, this is a chance for me to extend this inning and start a 2-out rally. Now it stays at 2-2.
He started it earlier.
Yes, he did. Got it out there a little quicker. What's going through his mind right now?
I don't know how you shut out everything for taking a bat against a guy throwing 100.
Jones breaks his bat. Backhand to Descalso. Jump throw is not in time. Pulled him off the bag. Safe is the call. And the game continues. Close call at first base. Mike Winters had Alan Craig off the bag at first, and Jones is aboard.
I'm not the official scorer, but I'm going base hit.
Yes. Gets jammed by this fastball, Joe. Almost an acrobatic play by Descalso that just pulls Craig off the bag, although Craig thought he got his foot back in time.
Great effort to get to the baseball. That's certainly out of the ordinary.
Watch Craig come off the bag there, but then reaches back with his foot. Does he get it before Chipper got there?
And it will go down as an infield hit.
The only guy that thought he did was Craig, that thought he got his foot back there. The only guy in the ballpark.
So the sentimental part of you notices Chipper Jones' maybe last at bat is a hit. Now the Braves with one more base run to bring the tying run up as Freeman launches one left center field. John Jay on the run, and that's down. It one hopped out, a ground rule double. Game on at Turner Field.
Whether it stayed in the park or not, whether Chipper scored or not, really doesn't matter at this point. It just means that the potential tying run has somehow found its way to the plate again here for the third straight inning.
Well, what a game by Freeman. 3 hits now, including this double with 2 outs and a 9. That splits the outfielders.
Freddie Freeman, what a ball game. 3 hits, a walk, and a big double to extend the inning for a home run hitter in Dan Uggla, representing the tying run.
Reds left him at second and third in the 7th. They left him loaded last inning, and are going to actually find their way to get another chance in the 9th. And in the event they tie it, Tim Hudson has begun to warm up for the Braves.
One of Freddie Gonzalez's starting pitchers. Comes down to this, perhaps. Uggla as the tying run. Aggressive against Mott.
1 for 2 in his career with a walk.
Uggla swinging as hard as Mott's throwing.
Good numbers with 2 out and men on.
No balls and a strike. 1-1. Uggla's been one of the top power hitting second basemen in the league the last few years. 19 home runs this season. Nobody in the Cardinal bullpen. This is Mott's inning. Strike.
Braves have 3 runs on 12 hits tonight. They've left 10 men on base coming into this inning.
Mott dropping down 3/4 there.
Good pitch.
Something he's been doing in the second half a little bit for the Cardinals. From straight over the top to off to the side.
Well, Mott has featured a little cut fastball in this array of pitches here to Uggla, but you have to think he's got to stay with number 1.
That's all Dan should be looking for.
And the 1-2, and Uggla bouncing ball. Descalso. The play to first in time, and the St. Louis Cardinals advance. The Cardinals racing off the field as the debris comes pouring down again. They will move on. Chipper Jones' final at bat is a hit, but the Braves come up short, and a 6-3 victory for the St. Louis Cardinals, trying to defend their World Series title and the end of an era. The Chipper Jones era in Atlanta is over after 19 seasons. The Cardinals come into a hostile environment in Atlanta. And yet another elimination loss put on the Braves. St. Louis will head to Busch Stadium in St. Louis to host the first 2 games of the NLDS. That will begin on Sunday against the Washington Nationals. Gio Gonzalez for Washington against Adam Wainwright. for the Cardinals. So the first ever wild card game belongs to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Kind of shell-shocked are the Cardinals. Usually in these games you get to celebrate on the field. Job well done. Not to be tonight.
And the Atlanta Braves with a 94-win season. The first year that there are two wild card teams, they end up in the elimination game, and they are the ones whose season comes to an abrupt end.
Talked about a drag race all night long. This one kind of hit the skids about the 6th or 7th inning with some poor defense, and also, of course, the call that went against the Braves that caused these fans to erupt and really embarrass themselves with the debris they threw on the field. So it's a sad way for the season to end in many ways for Atlanta.
The first wild card game will be known as the infield fly rule game. When you think about the rule, Tom Verducci gave it to us. It's got to be ordinary effort to catch the baseball. It can happen in the outfield, and it's also got to be done judiciously, calling it early. Sam Holbrook felt he met both of those criteria.
Well, the Cardinals win it 6-3. And our Chevy player of the game is Matt Holliday, who hit a 6th inning home run. Ended up with 2 hits in this game. But this was the home run that gave St. Louis at the time a 2-run lead. It was 2 for 3 with a couple of runs scored. As we send it down to Tom Verducci in the winning clubhouse. Tom.
Thanks, Matt Holliday. This is now 5 elimination games this team has played in the last 2 postseasons. You've won them all 4 times, coming from behind to win these games. What does it say about this team?
Well, I think the experience has helped us. Obviously, coming into a game like this, we played most of our last 10 games last year, feeling like this, and so we have experience, and I think it paid off.
Now, you had a big tack-on run there with the home run off Chris Medlin. Allowed only 1 home run all year on 2 strike pitches. Tell me about the approach and the at-bat.
Well, he's got kind of a sneaky fastball, and it says 90, but it plays a little harder. And so I was like, he threw me 2 fastballs that I took, and I thought, let's get on the fastball. I'm going to try to throw another fastball here, and he did, and I got inside it and hit it good.
8th inning now. The Braves have 2 runners on base. A pop fly goes up to left field. Just take me through the play, what you saw in left field, and how you sorted through it.
Well, Kaz came out, and I saw his back. He gave me the hand, and so I just stopped. I don't want to get too close. I wanted him to feel my presence, and I think he thought that he heard me, and with a loud crowd, and he turned, and all of a sudden, I was looking at him, and he was looking at me, and so as an infielder, once I see his back and a hand, I stop.
Now, things got a little unruly in the stands after that. Was there a point where you were concerned about safety?
No, the bottle wouldn't hurt me.
Now, looking forward now, you have a matchup going to the division series with Washington. How do you foresee that one?
It'll be interesting. We just played them, and they have a great team. So we have our work cut out for us, but it'll be exciting.
Matt, thank you very much. Back to you guys.
All right, Tom, thank you. Thanks to Matt Holliday, our Chevy player of the game. The Atlanta Braves won 5 out of 6 from the Cardinals in the regular season. They lost the one that counts the most, and the Cardinals continue to advance. They continue to fight off elimination just like they did last year. They're trying to become the first National League team to win back-to-back World Series since the Big Red Machine, the 75-76 Reds.
Well, it looks like the Cardinals are ready to celebrate. They said they would wait to pop the corks after they beat Atlanta. They've just done that, pending the outcome of the protest. I guess that's all that's left to find out about the outcome of this game, if there in fact will be any discussion about it.
Good point. Still not an official, as Freddie Gonzalez put this game under protest. The Cardinals carry on as if it is.
They're getting very good at that, by the way.
Yes, they are. So here's what it's going to look like as the Cardinals advance. And remember, now that they've moved past this 1-game elimination round, they will be the home team, and they'll have Wainwright, their horse, on the mound for that first game of the LDS on Sunday.
We have talked to everyone involved in these wild cards. The wild card sets up better this year than any other year you could have. You win, you get through the wild card, and you have 2 home games. Just the best setup you could ever have if you didn't have that division winning season.
If you're the division winner, it's horrible. You've had a better season than anybody in your league, and yet you've got to open up on the road for 2 days. That's going to be tough duty, not only for the Nationals but for the Yankees too.
And we're headed to San Francisco to see Johnny Cueto of the Reds and Matt Cain of the Giants beginning tomorrow. The Cardinals win it 6-3. They advance this historic game, the first ever wild card game in Major League Baseball history. Still a lot more to come. We'll take a break. Matt Weiner in our studio will lead the coverage when we continue, and a lot more news coming from Turner Field, believe it.